What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 29 of the Charge to the Top here with Hereford. And today I have for you guys the FA Cup second round, a massive game for us. Again, if we win, would see a massive windfall of money, you'd imagine, assuming, of course, we do get a good draw in the third round of the FA Cup. But yes, this is a big game for us. We're taking on Notts County. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be away from home, and as you can see, since the last episode, which was against Hartlepool, we played 3 games. We lost twice in the league, and it's not been great, if I'm honest. Let's go through these games real quick. I really feel like the focus of today's episode, though, has to be on the game. But you can see here in the first game we played against Chester, a 4-1 defeat, a convincing defeat. Chester were clinical with their chances. I can't really fault them. I feel like at the same time 4-1 did flatter them, and it was a similar story to an extent against Aldershot. I do think in this game they were the better team. It was a tight game, I thought, when McMullen scored to bring it slightly closer. Maybe we had a chance at that point, but alas, an 82nd minute goal secured the win for them. And, following 3 defeats in a row and following us kind of slip right down the division for the first time in a long time in this series, I went back to the drawing board and I thought, how am I going to change things here against Morecambe? Like, what can I do differently? Morecambe up in the playoff spots. And, the change that we made, quite a drastic one. If we just look at the teams, in fact, that's not what I want. I want to show you the formations. It's under the overview tab. I always forget where it is. As you can see, I made a bold decision to switch to a 4-2-3-1. And it worked. We got a 2-1 win, and as a result, I think we're going to try this tactic again today against Notts County and see how it treats us. It feels like, to an extent, the 4-4-2's kind of been figured out a little bit. It feels like it's not quite holding up at this level. You know, players are more technically gifted on the opposition teams. The team's more willing to play outside of a 4-4-2 as well. You know, they've got a bit more adventurousness. Is adventurousness a word? It is now, kind of in their players and how they play. And, well, the 4-2-3-1, it worked well here against Morecambe. It's a tactic that I've had on the back burner training for a while, and we're going to employ it. As you can see, we have had the 4-4-2 that we've used. We've had that 4-2-3-1. I have also got a 5 at the back system that's kind of just there if I want to use it. But I've not really developed that much besides the formation on that tactic yet. In terms of our team going into this game against Notts County, there is one new addition to the side, and it's a player who kind of solves a problem for us, and that problem is the right-back position. And I've brought in this guy now. There's 2 reasons we've brought him in. Number 1, fantastic right-back, Scott Wiseman, very good at this level, 34 years old. He's old. He's got very good fitness, though. His natural fitness is great. His physicals have kind of held up fairly well. He's only here to the end of the year. Some of you may also notice the flag. He is, of course, Gibraltarian, one of the few professional players from Gibraltar playing in English football. And he's a good Gibraltarian. Of course, if you don't know what I'm referring to there, last year I did a save in Gibraltar. It was an amazing save. I feel like if you didn't see that save, if you didn't give it a go, go check it out. Go see what that was all about at Gibraltar Apex. It was almost 200 episodes long. It was great fun, and as a result, whenever I see a Gibraltarian player pop up in Football Manager, part of me wants to get them, and Scott Wiseman was just like that. But if we just compare him to our other options at right back, just to kind of put it into perspective how good he is, we can start by comparing him to Kane Smith here. You can see just a completely different player in terms of the quality that he offers. He's obviously on fairly good money, Scott Wiseman, £850 a week, but at the same time just a fantastic player. And if we also just quickly compare him to Philip Vincent Day, again, the quality difference is kind of just there to be seen, really. Scott Wiseman, very good defensively. He's a very well-rounded fullback as well, and despite his old age and perhaps his lack of speed to an extent, I feel like his ability elsewhere on the pitch is really going to serve us well. So anyway, he's the only new signing. I am still looking at 1 or 2 new players. One player who I am looking at is this guy, Mezaguie. I don't know about him, though, if I'm honest. I'm still waiting on a scout report. He's an option to bring in. He would definitely be an upgrade on Rafael Branco, but it might also open up the door for a bit of an unusual change. If I just quickly compare this guy to Branco, where is he? I can't actually see him. We've lost him. There we go. Rafael Branco. If we compare the 2 players, you can see this guy's better defensively by quite a good margin, but Branco, I have a feeling I might be able to make him a deep line playmaker, and if I'm going to persevere with the system that we're playing, that might be an option. Or there is, of course, an option just to train him to play centre mid on defend, potentially. Unfortunately, kind of his marking not being that great in his decision and concentration being a bit meh and kind of an off-putting point. But I do wonder, I look at him as a deep line playmaker, possibly on the defend duty. And with the exception of his decisions, I wonder if we can make it work. I don't know. As I said, the Mizaguirre deal kind of a little bit up in the air at the moment. Looking at our team and this system that we're going to be using, I am using the formation that I used at both Tottenham and Chelsea earlier on in FM16 as a base. I am going to be looking to develop this tactic and kind of evolve it, I think, to better suit our players as the season goes on. In terms of the back four and the goalkeeper, nothing's really changed there. Branco, Lennon, Owens, Wiseman, of course the new addition, and Griffiths. Looking slightly higher up the pitch. With this system, we do play with a centre mid on defence still. Ollie Banks is going to be occupying that position today, although I think Goburn is the better player there. Just worth noting that with Goburn, he's currently tired. We've had a lot of games in quick succession. He's actually played a fair few of them, so he has suffered as a result of that. At the deep line playmaker role, we are going with Christy Davis. You can see very well suited to this role, really. Very good player, 22 years old. I think he could develop into that position quite well. The system does also suit Paul McMullen quite well. Of course, a player on loan from Walsall. He's good with his finishing, very good as an inside forward on the support duty. You kind of look, there's a few areas like his composure, long shots and decisions which aren't great, but he possesses the pace acceleration needed to play out wide. He's got decent work rate. His stamina's not too bad. I think he could be a good inside forward for us. Of course, this also suits Harry Anderson playing out on the right wing, which is always good. In the centre attacking mid position, it does open up the opportunity for Danny Smith, the 19-year-old, to come in and perhaps have a little bit of a run. We have got alternative options in the kind of centre mid department, both in the attacking midfielder and the two kind of slightly deeper centre mids. I feel like this is kind of not really set in stone if I am going to persevere with this system. We have also got Shamanga playing as a lone forward. I think this is a kind of role that suits him well, as you can see. Very well adapted to play in the advanced playmaker role, so he's going to play that for us today. Do I see the system as the future of Hereford FC? Possibly. I feel like a 4-4-2, at least in FM16 from my experience, is just a little bit limited in terms of what you can do with it. It feels like there's just some tactics that are just fundamentally better than the 4-4-2, which I guess is the case in real life. I feel like adapting to this slightly more mainstream system is perhaps a solution that's worth pursuing, particularly having had 3 defeats in a row previously. Obviously, the result today against Notts County isn't really going to define whether or not I use this formation or not. It's going to come down to the more immediate fixtures. I want to give it a go. Obviously, we've got York in 20th coming up, Solihull Moors, Alfredton in the Cup, Torquay, Gateshead, and then Dulwich Hamlet, who are currently in 5th. So we've kind of got a nice run of games here, kind of 4 league games and the FA Trophy game, which I think are going to be good ways to test how this works against kind of slightly lower quality teams. Obviously, if the 4-2-3-1 just isn't working, I might change it, but at least for now, the 4-2-3-1 seems to have broken that defeated run that we've gone on against the likes of kind of Chester, Aldershot and Hartlepool. So yeah, kind of watch this space. The tactic may change. It may not. I feel like this game, as I said, not really going to define it one way or another, but we're going to give it our best shot. The 4-4-2, it's worked well up until this point, but with 3 defeats on a row, with ourselves slipping outside of the playoff spots, it felt like I did need to make a change. I did actually get quite an interesting little news item with regards to the tactical change now I think about it. That was basically just saying about the fact that the board and the fans were kind of happy with the decision we'd made. You may have noticed a few little bits of weird news item here, just to kind of quickly fill you in. I had a job interview with Charlton in League One. Now, I don't really intend to leave Hereford, but obviously with us falling outside the playoff spots and with the board expectations being set high, that is always a looming risk, I guess, with my job. So it was kind of interesting to see a League Two side offer me, an interview, which I took. Obviously, the board at Hereford weren't too happy with that. The interview, I think, went well. If they offer me the job, I probably won't take it. But at the same time, I thought it was pretty interesting. The fact that Hereford were obviously keen to keep me on. So that was a little bit of news there. The fact that a League One club wanted to approach me, I guess, is a good sign in terms of it shows that I'm being noticed by the higher divisions, despite being kind of 2 leagues below League One right now. It's worth noting that obviously the news item that I was going to bring you was just the fact that I got a little news item from my PA basically saying that the fans were happy with the ditching of the 4-4-2. So there might be something there. The only other little bit of team news you might notice, Dan Townsend, he came to me, basically said, "Gaffer, I want to leave. I need to be playing football. Can you give me it?" I told him I couldn't. And I had to release him, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad, but at 28 years old, I think he'll find a team. But he has definitely declined just through lack of football recently. I mean, it's a little bit mad just how much of a decline he's had. He's only 28. I'm sure he'll find a good club and be a good player, but I just feel like at this level, it's not quite up to scratch. He was struggling last year. This year, not even been kind of a consideration in the first team. Anyway, we're going to submit our team for this game against Notts County. They are in the league above us. This is going to be a tricky game. Of course, a spot in the FA Cup third round on the line. For those of you not well versed with the FA Cup, it's the national trophy here in England, in which every single football club in the country has an opportunity to partake in, as long as they are part of the FA. Basically, the third round marks the point at which Championship and Premier League teams come into the competition. There's fairly good TV money on the line. Obviously, for a small club like ourselves, to play a Premier League side could be potentially huge, and the money that it brings in could be game-changing. And, here we are in the second round. We're taking on League 2 opposition in Notts County, a good side. A team who, of course, struggled in real life. They are also struggling in this save in terms of the fact they are kind of slumbering in the bottom half of the League 2 table. So let's see what we can do. We're playing the new system. We'll see if it works for us. We have a chance here. Anderson, back post, Rafael Branco. Got to hit the target there. A header from point-blank range, gone over the crossbar. Wasn't an easy effort, but was a clear-cut chance. And, well, I guess that's a good opening sign. Of course, in the first round, we knocked out League 1 Walsall, a game that I didn't live-com. I didn't really think we had much of a chance in it, but actually, I think we created 4 times more clear-cut chances than them. In the end, we won that game 2-1. Hoping for a similar result, I guess, here. This is going to be tricky, though. Away from home, I do believe there'll be some reasonable money brought in just for playing in this stage of the FA Cup because we're away from home. I don't think it'll be quite comparable to the amount we'd get if we were to kind of progress into that third round, but, well, we'll just be any team that comes up in front of us and see how we get on. Of course, a cup run, a little bit of a distraction, particularly at the moment. As I mentioned, the league form, it's been patchy. 3 defeats in a row has seen us fall outside of the playoffs. I didn't really talk about that too much, but that is a bit of a concern. And whilst the league is my primary concern, the money that is on offer from a game like this has to play consideration when it comes to any decisions I do make. And you may notice player condition is fairly good. We've had a lot of games in quick succession. A lot of these players were rested actually for that 2-1 win against Morecambe. And they're players who I do feel like, I don't know, they can't be playing every week, and I did rest a few key players for this match specifically. So hopefully it kind of works out in our favour, I guess. Anyway, looking at the game, 30 minutes gone. We've had more of the play. We've had more of the ball. We've had more of the shots. We've had a few half chances. But Shimanga in the final third, not having a very good game. He has struggled as of late, but we have another set piece in a similar position to the previous one. This time, Rafael Branco is going to dispatch that. I talked about the possibility of playing him as a centre mid. He's not too bad in the box, is he? Nice finish there. I think that might well have been on the volley, which is a little bit odd to see the ball drop there, but the ball into the box was a very good one. A very dangerous area, of course, just to get the ball in there. We've got to make the most of our set pieces, particularly in FA Cup games, particularly when you're playing teams in higher divisions. You know, it's a great opportunity where perhaps technical ability of players doesn't matter quite so much as kind of open field play. And, Branco, just a swift little volley there into that bottom corner. He's loving it. Puts us 1 goal up. And you'd have to say we'd probably be worth it at this moment in time. The 4-2-3-1, it's working again. I kind of had my doubts. I said that this game is not really going to determine whether or not we use it. But you'd have to say, just looking at the team as a whole, it's been a fantastic first half. I am going to make a change, and that's actually going to be to take off Shimanga and bring on Stephen Payne. Stephen Payne, he's been a bit of a goal machine for us. He has got 4 goals in his last 5 games. Obviously, the casualty and the kind of knock-on effect, I guess, of just playing the 1 striker system is that it does kind of force a player out. And obviously, playing 2 strikers, I've kind of built my team around that. So there is quite a bit of competition, I guess you could say, for that striker position. But Stephen Payne, he got goals last year. Obviously, came in halfway through the season. Shimanga's been in great form to open up the season. Recently, not been quite so perfect as he was to open the season. He got so many goals, initially. He was getting pretty much a goal every game. He's fallen a little bit off the pace here. Stephen Payne, though, a good player in the air, and that could be something that's kind of useful, particularly with the system we're playing. I didn't really recap the instructions. You obviously saw the player roles, but just so you can see them, we are sitting slightly deeper. We're looking for the overlap, and we're being more expressive, and they are the only instructions I've got on, with the exception of attacking. I always feel like with tactics, simpler is better, and well, it worked for us for a long spell with the 4-4-2. Obviously, we now know that's kind of been figured out to an extent, but we're going to give it a chance again here. And, well, looking at the stats in this game, the only real disappointment is the fact that we're only 1 goal to the good. We've had plenty of opportunities, had a few bookings as well, which is always a little bit concerning perhaps. And there is a little bit of a long period of time for our players who are booked to walk a tightrope on, particularly at the back. Wiseman and Branco, right back and right centre back. But, as I said, the only real disappointment at the moment, the fact that we've not got 2 goals ahead. Obviously, a draw here would see the game go to a second leg. But at the moment, we're dominating possession. They're not having a lot of chances, Notts County, but obviously only all it takes is one chance to score. Anderton hasn't had the best game out wide. I'm actually going to make a change, and that change is going to be to bring in Keenan Bennett and play him out on the right wing. He's a very good winger. I'm going to hold on to my last change for now, just in case there is an injury, in case we do get a sending off, in case we have to reshuffle kind of our team for kind of, I guess, reasons beyond my control. But well, with 20 minutes left, this game has not been a classic by any means, but we're 1-0 up against a team in the league above us, and actually, we've kind of dominated the game. Obviously, statistics don't tell a whole lot. The only statistic that matters is the goal kind of total. And well, when we're looking up in the top right and the fact, top left, and the fact it's only 1-0, it still leaves me a little uneasy. But we might have another chance here. Set piece cleared away, but only as far as Scott Wiseman, the Gibraltarian. Can he get the ball back into the danger area? Big ball up, Taylor now. This is where we could be vulnerable. Notts County trying to hit us on the counter here. Big ball up. Massive, massive mess defensively here. We've not transitioned well, but Griffiths, what a stop that is by that man. He made a few big stops actually last time out against Hartlepool in the previous live commentary. Unfortunately, they all kind of counted for nothing in the end because whilst it was 2-1, he kept us in the game. And well, you'd have to say he's put up another great stop there, of course. A new addition in goal for us. And well, he's done well. And while we're on the attack here, Payne the sub to Christy Davis. Going for back with Payne, options on ahead, back to Christy Davis. He slots it away. What a goal that is. That is beautiful interplay between Christy Davis and, of course, the substitute Payne. And, well, with 6 minutes left in this game, we go 2 goals up against the League 2 opposition. Great build-up play, lovely little intricate passing between those two players. And the finish, right into the bottom corner, just tucked it away. And, well, we are going to be on course, it does seem, for an FA Cup third round, which is absolutely incredible if we can make it stick, obviously with 5 minutes remaining. I was a little bit worried the result against Walsall, a bit of a flash in the pan, maybe we wouldn't see a repeat of that, the kind of game where we do grab it by the scruff of the neck against a team in the division above us, or a few leagues above us in the case of Walsall. But you'd have to say in this game here, taking on Notts County, League 2 opposition, we've bossed this game. We've had 2 clear-cut chances, 4 half chances, 57% of the ball. They have had 1 clear-cut chance. They've had 3 shots on target in the entire game. It's been dominant. And if we can translate this form we are having against this kind of team into the league, particularly with this new system, I do wonder how much better we can do. People had us written off. We've won that game. And that is a fantastic result, not only for me personally, but also for the club. It's worth noting the third round draw isn't going to be until December the 8th, so you guys won't know until next episode who it's going to be against. I'm not actually sure when that draw is going to be, but well, quality of possession provides the victory. Rafael Branco, man of the match. We're through into another kind of round in this competition, up into the third round. And I can't really complain. Branco wins man of the match, had a superb performance. The FA Cup second round, ours now. And well, looking forward, you can see here, obviously, this is the second round. The third round, the draw is going to be done in 5 days' time. In terms of the rules for that thing, I don't know if it talks about prize money at all. You can see the winner prize money for the round is £70,000. But that's not the money you concern yourselves with. The money really is in TV money and trying to get an away fixture against a big side. That's what we need. We want a big payday if we can. As sad as it is, and as sad as it would be just to get thrashed in the third round, it's what you want. But looking at the team as a whole, obviously, 2 great performances now in the FA Cup. Of course, we did also beat Southport. The 4-2-3-1 worked very, very well today, and it does kind of make me think I've probably got to consider this as our long-term solution system. Just have a quick look at Notts County. I'm not sure exactly where they are in the division. As I mentioned, they have been struggling last time I checked. And wow, actually looking at it here, they're in 14th. They actually played Forest Green in the previous round. So I kind of knew that one of those 2 teams was going to be the team we came up against. Notts County, they're not going too badly. You can actually see that League 2 as a whole is actually incredibly close at the moment. Perhaps with the exception of a few teams at the top. There is just 13 points separating 4th all the way down to, well, 15. No, how many points? Not a lot of points at all. It's actually 14 points between 4th and 24th, which is peanuts, really. That could change drastically. But yeah, Notts County, a good side, and we've got a good result against them. You can see their form's been pretty bad as of late. They did scrape through that FA Cup game against Forest Green, but it's a win at the end of the day, and it's a very good result for us, and it does see us go marching on. So anyway, guys, that is going to wrap things up from me. In terms of when we'll be back, I imagine it'll be for the FA Cup third round. In truth, we've not got a game against a team immediately kind of in contention with us in the league until Dulwich Hamlet, which is coming towards the end of December. I'm not sure when the FA Cup third round is. That may well kind of move around fixtures and whatnot, so we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, hopefully I'll see you guys for that one. If you have enjoyed today's video as always today, guys, please do leave a like on it. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching as always. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.